That should be fairly straightforward. If we grab, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do messed up skin in ZBrush here. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but if you go here to, we have geometry, I had this subdivided up. A lot of, I mean, you could do spray stroke with an alpha, and you can kind of just go through here and do destroy stuff. You can also do with live Boolean. If we go ahead and do subtool, append, this is kind of a cool thing. So we'll grab a sphere, and we'll move this over. And on the sphere, we can go ahead and do our surface noise. And with this one, we can go ahead and look in here. Let's go ahead and create some surface noise for this object. We'll go ahead and change the strength a little bit and the scale for sure. There we go. So once we have this kind of going, you can go through here and you can modify this thing. Or of course, you can use noise plugins, use your own alphas, all that good stuff. So now we go, okay. We'll go ahead and make this one subtractive here. And now if we go into our live render, oh, subtractive, not intersective. Now we have, looks like concrete's messing up his face. And it doesn't even matter. I mean, it's quick. It doesn't matter if this is 10 million polygons or 1 million polygons or whatever. The live Boolean will go pretty quickly through all these things. You know, if you have subdivision history or not, doesn't really matter. There was a beta tester who also did, I forget the name, I apologize in advance, but you can also just like take a piece off of here. So we go, let's go ahead and just duplicate this off, delete lower, Control W, isolate this, delete hidden. Let's go ahead and polish those polygroup borders, and then we'll do a quick ZBrush half. So you can take this like little individual specific pieces out of here, and let's keep knocking this down. Half, half, half. There we go. So now if you take this one, Q mesh, polygroup all, we'll pull this back, and we'll go ahead and flip that. So now I can make this a subtractive mesh here. So you can kind of start cutting through, like if you want to do zombie stuff, you can start cutting through layers of your object here, and you can just use your move brush as well, just kind of move this stuff in and out. If you need a little bit more leeway, you can go back through here and do Q mesh, polygroup all. You hold down shift, and let's go out of the render here so I can make sure I'm grabbing the right side here. Yeah, there we go. So we can just pull along that surface normal here. And now we go back into the normal. We can really dig deep with that new thing we made. And of course, any of this stuff you have here, you can hit D for dynamic preview, and that'll kind of smooth it out, as well as, you know, you can increase by polygroups if you want to keep a sharp edge around there or not. And you can also, again, go in here to the surface noise, and then we can do our strength, scale, like so. And now you can kind of just move this around and kind of go through and dig in. So lots of really cool stuff. And you can sculpt in this thing, so you can use your clay brush and just go in here and start sculpting. It's all live. And all I'm doing is just sculpting on that mesh. So we go to the back side here, you can just start sculpting. And we have noise applied, so we're sculpting through that noise. You don't like the noise, just turn the noise off. And now while we're sculpting, you know, it's modifying on the fly. So now the noise here, it looks cool, but it's not going to be applied if we do a union mesh. So what we need to do is, let's go ahead and divide this up. So when we go apply to mesh, when it applies to mesh, will be enough resolution, and now we can create a union mesh for that. So yeah, I don't know if that link's going to work. Looks like it's missing some stuff here. There we go. Oh, that kind of thing. Yeah, you would create a shell and you could use the live booleans. Yeah, that should be pretty easy. And yeah, what I would do is like create a Dynamesh shell and then live boolean any fractured pieces that you wanted to, and then you could just use like the fracture, or there's if I go to my comic key here, let's see if I have these still. I should have them under rocks. Speaking of Pablo Munoz, if you go to ZBrush, the ZBrush link I sent out earlier, he's got some good brushes in there for just those type of cracks here. I might have to load those up. I haven't gone through and copied everything over yet at home. So, but I mean, in a pinch, you can just, oh, come on. want to unmask here. There we go, just divide this up, and then you can just take the standard brush, and we'll just go here, and you can crank your Z intensity up. And you know, you can make your own custom drag crack. So if you go and watch the Pixelogic Cubimal Chick, we go through here where we basically, let's just do it here. Go through here, and we'll grab a plane 3D. Make polymesh 3D. Go out of smooth, divide, 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 divide. And now you can make like just a custom like kind of crack thing. Let me make sure this lazy radius is off. Yeah. So you can make your own custom cracks in here, and of course you can drag out other custom cracks that you've possibly made before, like so. And then if you want to just capture this, you can probably the easiest way, you can do a document grab, but we'll just go ahead and just do a real quick mRGB grabber here. We just grab this information, this height information here, make that into an alpha. And then if we go back here, we can go to the standard brush. Let's go ahead and take our standard brush, we'll clone it off, and then we'll do drag rect, this new alpha here. And we might need to find a midplane for it, but let's go ahead and crank that intensity up, focus shift down to -100. Yeah, so we got easy enough. We can go to the alpha menu here. And we could have just done from mesh as well, as opposed to just grabbing the alpha here, but I don't know, another option you can use. And then we can go to the alpha. Oh, we need light anymore. We need alpha, modify. I'm pretty sure if I go to, because I just went down, so I'm going to take this, where did it go? Come on, mid value, there it is, to 100. There we go. So now it won't deform my mesh like this, and now you can just do like custom cracks all over the place. Of course, do a better job than I do. Speaking of rendering, we did go through and do the Cubable Chicken key shot here. So yeah, that look should be easy enough. You can do mask and delete. You can go through here if you want to like here. Let's go ahead and just dynamesh this guy. So turn off project, turn off blur. There's a lot of different ways you can accomplish that look. So I don't want to be like, you do it exactly this way, especially if I'm just kind of just riffing on the fly. But if I had to guess, I mean, you could even like ZBrush. Here's another way. Yeah, okay, let's do it this way. Let's undo that. Let's duplicate this off. And we've got this one here, and if we just have one-sided mesh here, right? So we'll go ahead and do geometry, go down to the lowest, delete higher. And now I'm going to give this a little bit of thickness here. So I'm going to Q mesh, polygroup all. Actually, let's not do a Q mesh. Let's do extrude so it doesn't snap to any weird faces. And we'll do, I said polygroup all. There we go. And just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and turn off double and flip that. So now we've got some thickness here. So if I want to get my details back to my face here, what I can do is just have these two on. Hold down Control Shift, isolate this. Let me turn off live Boolean there. So I have these two poly groups here, so I'm going to go ahead and isolate this top one with Control Shift. What's going on here? Oh, drag rect. Okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go brush, reset all brushes. There we go. So now I can isolate this top one here, and then again with these ones showing, I can just go to Subtool, Project All, and then we can go ahead, let's crease by polygroup, and we'll subdivide this, isolate this one, project all, Control D, isolate this one, project all, Control D, isolate this one, project all. So we're basically doing is getting thickness to our mesh, which you could do with Dynamesh and Shell, but for a little bit more control and a little bit you know, a little bit less destructive, what we can do now is we can go ahead and go to insert anything. We'll go to insert this thing, and then we'll go ahead and we'll make this a new start group here. And now let's set this to subtractive, turn on our live Boolean. And now wherever you put these little cracks and stuff, and however you want to model that out, now you have, let's go ahead and move this thing around here. Turn on polyframe so we can see the hatch marks here. So however you want to make your cracks, you can now just go through. And now you have a shell and all these little cracks and interior spaces. And then you can actually grab this interior one here. So if you take this one and we do, for example, let's go ahead and duplicate this off. Now for this one, what I want to do is I'm going to isolate, go into solo mode here, and we're going to take this outer shell. Let's go ahead and turn light boolean off. So we've got an outer shell and we've got an interior shell. So I'm going to take this interior shell here. Let's go down to lowest. We're going to delete higher. I'm going to delete hidden. And then on this one here, we can go into insert nanomesh, polygroup all. And that one's just going to do a cube by default, which is fine in this case because for this cube, what I can do now is go to my nanomesh properties. And we can go, and again, I'm just riffing off the top of my head of how to do this stuff, but random distribution, not rotation. Let's go ahead and keep, and kind of rotate these things out, and then we can do the offset. So we'll use the offset here. We kind of push these things back. So you can kind of get a layer of little crystal shards in there. You can kind of mess around with the offsets to kind of get that to work correctly. Let's go ahead and do, you know, so you do length and height variance on your stuff. Let's go to fit, maybe, size. So any sort of crystal stuff you want to do, you can use nanomesh, and then we can just go like, okay, inventory, one to mesh. And now we can get rid of this interior space we were doing. And then you can assign that a different material. So now when we go into our live render here, we've got little crystals on the inside and a shell, and you know, obviously you can move that stuff around. Cracks, all that good stuff. So cool.